Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cobra Daytona build. On this episode, we are going to unpack and install the Wilwood EPBs, or electronic parking brake. As I said, I'm not a fan of that big parking handle that goes in the middle of the console. On the Roadster, it's off to the side. Didn't mind that as bad because it's not hanging out up there in front, up on top. But on the coupe, that thing is sitting right up on top, right next to the shifter, and it kind of really clutters up that center console. So I saw these, actually a guy on the forum actually bought them and installed them, so there's not a whole lot of science to it because he's done all the hard legwork. But I'll kind of go through it on the video so you can see what has to be changed in order to make these things work. Yeah, unsprung weight, I'm adding about 1.25 pounds, 1.5 pounds per side compared to the standard Wilwood parking brake assemblies. And that is unsprung weight, so that's not good. But I am eliminating a lot of the other weight in the handle and the cable and the brackets, all that other stuff. So in the end, weight-wise, it's probably a wash. You know, because the electronics and the wirings don't weigh much at all. But it is unsprung weight, but to me it's worth it, and I got extra light wheels, so hopefully in the end it all evens out. So follow along, and thanks again. Here's the box the Wilwoods come in. As you can see, nothing, pretty small box, nothing great. Inside the box, we've got 2 of the electronic parking brake calipers. One's left and one's right. So I think you got the motor assembly in here, some sort of worm drive gear mechanism, I'm guessing. Not really sure. You got your instruction manual. Let's see, there's a part number on here. Not that I see. So then you got a box in here which has your wiring harness. So this plugs into the module, which we'll get to. I think these plug into the back brakes. Set that over there. And then in here, I think you have your brain. So this will mount up underneath the dash somewhere. So that's the control, whatever, the brain, I guess, the CPU. And I think in here, as you can see, I've already been through this box. This is your switch, off and on. So, and you can see the little rotated one that goes on the dash. So instead of having that big ugly handle, I'll have a little knob on the dash. What do we have here? Important, follow the instructions. Yeah, don't, you know, someone who's not. Let's see, I'm still looking for a part number, but I don't see it. So, okay, so we'll continue. Let's get this thing installed. Okay, so this is the left side. Hopefully you can see this. Let me back this camera off a little bit. This is the left side caliper. Get these bolts out. And it basically bolts up to the bracket, which we already bolted up to the knuckle. So basically they make it so you just need the one bracket and it holds both the standard brakes and the parking brake assembly. Usually that bolts up to here is the standard mechanical brakes, which is not going to work in this situation. So here's the problem we have. As you can see, hitting the spring. This ain't going to work, is it? But somebody on the forum said you can swap these things side to side. They've got a recommended side. Oh, I just dropped the bolts. They've got their recommended side, which that there was the driver's side caliper, but in the instructions, it does say you can put these either or. So, these pads spread out a little bit here. So as you can see now, and I'll get the camera up over here so you can actually see what I'm dealing with here. I'm just going to put the bolts, we're just going to hand tighten them. Probably call for Loctite on here, but I haven't read the instructions yet. So now we actually have the space we need. There's probably about 1 degree or 2 of negative camber in here right now. That was my concern with seeing the guy that installed them on the forums. If you went full on negative camber, would you still have space? And after seeing them on here, I could probably crank in 4 to 5 degrees of negative camber, which I'm not even going to be able to get with this without shortening things, and still not hit the spring. So now here's the issue. The plug is going to come out this way, so we're going to have to kind of bend it back on itself, probably wire zip tie it to this, and then I'll probably just follow it along here up and out. So that's kind of the plan I've got going forward. So as I said, this one here is really made for the passenger side. That's what the instructions say. But the instructions also say you can swap them from side to side, no big deal. So let's figure out what we need to do with these, and we'll get those torqued out. Okay, so I got the torque specs. These bolts that hold the caliper onto that special bracket, you're supposed to apply some red Loctite to these, and they get torqued to 40 feet-pounds. So we'll do that. And as I said, these things should be very nice. As I say, aren't all modern cars now using electronic parking brakes, it seems like. And if you ever have to change pads on here, someone questioned about taking these brackets off to change pads. Well, with these you do not. They were questioning, you know, you put the red Loctite, you're gonna have to heat it up, you're gonna burn your paint. No, you really don't, because these pins here come out. And then this whole assembly pops off this way. The same thing with these. This bracket that's on the spindle basically should never have to come off. That is a pretty permanent attachment because there's really no need to ever take it off, because you can access the brake pads without touching that bracket. So yeah, once I get it down past the drive motor, I should be able to get a socket on this. Right now, that drive motor makes it a little tight. There we go, yep. Okay, so let me get the torque wrench out. We're gonna torque these to 40 feet-pounds, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, so 40 feet-pounds. Okay. Okay, 40 feet-pounds there. I'll take off this extension, see if we can get to the other one now. There we go. So we got 40 feet-pounds on both bolts. We can now go to the other side, and then we'll do the wiring. So the wiring, and we may have to shorten these. So this is the right motor, which is really over here. Looks like this thing goes this way. And then what I'll do is, if you can see this, I'm gonna zip tie this like this, and this will go across into here, a little bit of flex, and then I'll probably tie into the chassis somewhere. Not sure where yet, but that's kind of my idea of how I'm going to wire this. And I'm not going to wire this now, but you can see the way it's going to work. And I don't know if I'm going to run the left to the left, to the right to right. Since I have these calipers backwards, I don't know. Yes, it looks like it doesn't matter. So I'm actually going to wire them as they are on here. The left motor is going to go to the left side, the right to the right side, just the way the plugs are. Even though these things are reversed, and it shouldn't make a difference because you just got power and a ground. So I don't see an issue. As I said, we'll zip tie these this way, come across like this, just a little bit of slack in there. And I really don't have any good way of attaching them, or it could even just come straight up into here. But then that whole wire is going to be moving with the suspension. Whereas if I do it this way, this won't move at all. That'll be basically rigidly tied in there. And at that point then, I think I could probably take this up like that. So, and then go across and follow the other wiring harness all the way back in. Or, yeah, you know what, that's the way I'm going to do it. I think that'll be clean. Right here. One little loop, and then I get back up into the main bar and over to the main wiring harness. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I should have enough wire here. Let's see, do I have enough wire here to get back to the center where they've got Yeah, I do. Okay, so this is actually perfect. So there's enough wire, as you can see. As you can see here, the wire is split between left and right, and there should be just enough wire to run this back to the center of the car, and then this can run all the way up to the dash. And as I said, it looks like I'm gonna have a whole bunch of extras. So I'm probably gonna have to cut into this somewhere and shorten this, and I'll do that probably back up into here, because I don't know where all these go. Oh, these are my power and my ground, because you got to have constant power. Yeah, accessory power, ground, and battery. So I'll probably tap into it up somewhere up into here. Crap, the convoluted stuff is like totally sealed. Nice wiring harness, I must admit. So yeah, not like it's split loom. That's a complete loom. It's all the way molded all the way around. So then this will plug in. I don't want to start cutting into these, because there's a lot of wires here as it goes to the ground power. So if I cut it, you know, into here somewhere before I get to this main intersection, I only have 4 wires to shorten. Not bad at all. I can deal with that. Whereas if I do it back into here, we're going to have ourselves a mess. So I'm not going to start with the wiring now. That's probably going to come on a later episode when I do a whole... So I'm not going to start the wiring now. That's going to be a later episode when I do the complete wiring of the car. But I wanted you to see the assembly of these things, what they're made of, how they work, so that we get an idea of what I'm working on back here. So thanks again for watching. As a short video, EPBs, electronic parking brake. Thanks again, and if you like this video, please hit subscribe.